Okay, hopefully you watched my little tips for how to scribble the negative space. Now I'm going to show you positive space, okay? So let me get in here. Whoop. Okay, so I'm going back to the same image, and I'm going to hit record. I think I did I? Yes, I am recording. Am I? I am recording. Okay, sorry. So funny. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit again. Maybe not. It's not letting me. There we go. How about that? Okay. So this time I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take the annotation tool, and maybe I'll do it in a different color so it doesn't look like the other one. We'll do it in pink. Okay. So just like I was looking at the negative space and scribbled inside here, I want to actually, I might even start out here. I want to look at the form of the pairs, but I might even start with the cast shadows too, because I'm looking at anything that makes like a shape or an area, right? So even if I started right in here and I just sort of notice, and I'm just sort of scribbling the cast shadow, and I might even just sort of notice that this is like zoop, and see it almost goes straight across, and then it makes this little tail end there, right? Okay, so that gives me like a starting off point, and I've just sort of, I didn't just outline and fill it in, I put it like that. So from here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna like kind of reach up. Oops, sorry, that's my alarm. I'm gonna like reach up, right, and kind of figure out, I'm scribbling across and getting, can you hear that? Life touches here for picture retakes. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. So I'm scribbling up here, and then I might just really kind of notice, right, how, I don't know if you can hear me with the speaker, that this really angles down. Remember I was saying in the other video, like this is straight across, like vertical, horizontal, this would be 45 degrees, kind of going this way. I'm gonna undo that. So when I scribble up across here, and then I kind of notice that this kind of goes down like this, it comes to the tip here, right? And I'm down to where my cast shadow is. This all goes into that there, and I can do swirlies, I can do scribbles, and then, you know, I might just, right, really just, I'm scribbling the mass or the volume of the piece, right? And I'm gonna kind of work back and forth this way, right? And kind of noticing that's not quite half where I was before, right? You know, I can kind of see how much I have here. I can really kind of scribble in here and maybe notice this is really, you know, a pear is almost like the bottom part is a sphere, and then it has this little cone attached to the top, right? So I might just notice all that. And while I'm in here, I might also notice, I'm just gonna notice when I'm scribbling that where the edge of the table hits on there, right? So I just might note that just to myself. Cool. So can you see how like what I did not do was, you know, take my pen and outline, you know, the pear shape and then fill it in like a coloring book. That's not what I did, okay? I really sort of took the piece and I sort of was kind of building up marks to find the form. Okay, so if I took the same approach, I could stay with my same pen, but here, let's take a different color pen. So from here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do the cast shadow, and I'm gonna notice where this is on my other drawing, right? Where the base of the cast shadow and the base of this pear hits on my other pear, right? It's right around where the stem is. And here I'm gonna like shoot straight up, right? And I'm scribbling, and I might like notice my eye's gonna kind of go back and forth and scribble in here. And my eye's actually looking like this. And it's actually like noticing, you know, kind of around where this lines up with that, the thing that I already drew. And I'm gonna like scribble around, right? And obviously I know this goes right up to here, cool. And I'm just scribbling this, and I kind of notice, whoops, and my scribble went out of control, and that's okay, right? Because I can like mess around with this. But I'm gonna notice like it starts to narrow in here, and it's pretty even, right? And I'm kind of working this back and forth. Cool. So right now I'm literally just scribbling the volume and the mass. I'm not necessarily doing the lights and darks. But if I do this with my pencil or something, I can erase away the lights. I can also build up pieces later for the darkness. And here, this is like kind of fun. I would just like do a little, I still would do a little scribble. See how I'm not outlining it and filling it in? I'm kind of working from the center out, right? So let's try one more. What color should we do it? Purple. Okay, so same sort of thing. I might actually notice like the little cast shadow kind of, I'm noticing where it connects on this, right? I might even go across here and notice how that other cast shadow goes to this one. Pretty much goes straight across. I would notice that this one doesn't line up exactly. But here I am in this one, okay? And I'm gonna shoot up, right? And I'm gonna kind of scribble across, oops, and I'm maybe noticing, you know, maybe all the way over to that one, that same relationship coming across here, kind of notice where that is. I'm gonna scribble here and notice that this like overlaps like that, right? Like this here. And then this one, I'm maybe gonna scribble it looser around like this, right? I'm gonna build up my little thing and I notice it. And I would notice, I would look in this direction and kind of notice that this almost lines up with that one, right? They kind of, and it comes to the middle. I'd be looking like where it is in relationship to that stem, right? Where they are in relationship to each other. And then when I go back over here, I might deliberately this time on this one, really start to just build up the most marks on the stuff that's the darkest, right? So which is called the form shadow. So this is, it's the dark side. So this photograph's really nice. The light was set up on here and it's a little darker over here. And so whatever types of scribbles, squigglies, jagged little sharp little things, if I start scribbling more and more and making it denser and denser, it gets darker and darker. And then in the area that's the middle value, I might lighten it up a little bit. I'm gonna do a few around here, cool. And then if I had done this with my pencil or charcoal pencil, I could actually take my eraser, whoops, oh wow, sorry, that's the eraser in Zoom, I'm not familiar with it. We can undo that. See how I erased some of that stuff and then I can go back to my drawing pencil and like kind of just build up these looser in here, right? And just a few little scribbles, right? Even though this is the highlighted in here, I wouldn't leave it void of scribbles. I would just put a few in there and see how I can get the most inside here. And then the same thing on my cast shadow, my little stem. Cool, does that make sense? So that's, if I combine that with the negative space one too, that's the idea of what we're looking for. So I wanted you to see how I'm like kind of building from the inside out. I'm looking to see where relationships are. I'm noticing if something hits something else. Like I would notice all these little things like where these connect. And then, and the cast shadow shapes are also kind of helpful because that's where they sit on the ground. So I might actually notice those and start my scribble from there, if you can see them. Okay, so let's stop there.